So this is the Cubic Mini that we bought from Montreal. In total, the whole thing cost about $1,000. It's about $500 for the stove, and the chimney's about $500, a little bit more. And then I built this pedestal for it. There's a piece of metal that's on the top in case there's any embers that come on. And this is just a bolted down box that I made with two compartments. One is for the logs and the other one's for paper and recyclable materials. And then I used some metal that I had, old roofing from an old greenhouse, on the sides just to protect it, to be safe. This is recommended that you burn this off outside before you put it into your bus or into whatever you're going to put it into. We found that it took probably 10 to 20 burns in order to get the smell out of it. We weren't happy with that, but that's what we had to do. Even still, when this pipe gets really hot, you can still smell some odors that come off of it. And one of the biggest concerns with this that I have is that when I drive in the rain trickles down the back of the bus because it comes into the top on an angle and it trickles down. And I actually need to wrap a cloth or paper towel around the back in order for that to not leak down all to the back of the bus and on the floor. So the Cubic Mini, it's about 1 foot wide on the inside. It stores quite a bit of wood. I was using birch in here because I had accessibility to it. The window fogs up quite a bit with smoke. It doesn't have a washing system to clean it. So what I do is I take a little piece of paper towel, wet it with some ash, and clean it off. You can also buy a cleaner at Canadian Tire that takes off the heavy soot, because it's really nice to see that. And I would recommend cleaning it after every single burn so that it's nice and clean. So your vents are on the side, and the way that I operate this is that I will open it fully. I will open up the flue, and I'll close the one on the bottom. Those are the only two features. Then I'll start a fire, and that'll warm up my chimney for about 2 minutes. And then I will control it with this flue, and then I'll eventually close this flue, and then I'll open the bottom flue, and that will allow the air to circulate and create a nice burn. This gets very hot. It is steel, so you'll have to be mindful of that if you have any children around or if you're passing by. This fan I bought from Canadian Tire on sale, and it whips around pretty quickly to distribute the air around the bus, but be mindful of that as well. There was a gate, kind of a metal piece that was on the top here. I removed that, and you just pinch the pieces that come through at the bottom. You just pinch them together with a pair of pliers, and you can remove that, and I just have it stored under here. You can actually get a cooktop on the top of this to cook things as well. So I was burning wood, birch before, and I tried these, which are just the logs that you can get from like Canadian Tire Home Hardware. It's compressed wood, recycled, and then what I do is I get a nice fire going with some coals on the bottom, and I just throw them in. And I've noticed with those that the front here really gets contaminated with the soot, but that's something you just deal with. And then I have lots of paper here that I burn as well. So that's a Cubic Mini. It's a great little stove, puts off a lot of heat, and we really enjoy it. And with a wood stove, keep in mind if you're using this in the colder temperatures, the heat rises. So we have a lot of heat at the top level, but at the bottom level, it's quite cool. So that's something to be mindful of with the wood stove. But yeah, we also have a carbon monoxide detector that we have in the bus, and we also have 2 smoke detectors that I wouldn't go anywhere without them, especially if I have something like this. Do not drive when there's a fire inside the chimney, and yeah, make sure it's under control at all time.